A very good afternoon to you. Welcome to another compelling edition of Just Africa, the program that tracks the pulse of transformative change across the continent. Today, we spotlight a powerful convergence reshaping Africa's future, the rise of digital education in the era of booming tech economy. As innovation hubs grow and digital enterprises multiply in their numbers, a silent revolution is underway in classrooms, communities, and coding labs. Digital education is not just about access to online content, it's about equipping Africa's youth with the 21st century skills, unlocking economic opportunities, and closing gaps in knowledge and inclusion. From Lagos to Kigali, Nairobi to Accra, EdTech is becoming the bridge between talent and opportunity. So let's explore how this transformation is redefining education, business, and the very architecture of Africa's development. Welcome once again to Just Africa. As you know, I'm not the only one on the program today. My colleague, whom I call the Knight.
You have adopted that name.
In fact, it is.
All right. Welcome to Just Africa. I am Olumide Shokoya. Yes.
Yeah.
Africa's technology, Africa's tech boom. Yeah. You know, as Africa's technology is growing, it means more people are getting used to technology such as smartphones, and the rest of them, the internet and all that digital tools. So it means that education should also progress. It should also grow. And so basically that's what it means by digital education. Basically what it means is just people being able to access education instead of the conventional methods of going into schools, classrooms, and now they can access it online through educational apps and all that. And it also helps to actually boost any country. If you really want to take it, and I'm happy that Nigeria has tapped into technology. Nigeria is actually growing really fast when it comes to technology.
Yes, it is. We are growing very, very fast. So one aspect that I'm quite fascinated about is that tech and its growth, spirals to every area and every aspect of life. Talk about education, like you've mentioned. If you go to agriculture, we have tech and AI operations and functionalities in agro-economy. If you go to the petroleum industry, tech is also existing there. You come to broadcasting like we are. In fact, broadcasting itself is driven by technology. And when it comes to the military, security, technology is quite operational in there.
Yes.
And I specifically mentioned security because the first guest we'll be having on the program this morning is fortes in cybersecurity. So, and that is what we will be looking at. And if we're going to look at that, sometimes we look at head tech, but generally we might just start, technology in education, whatever aspect. All right. Now, the digital education revolution in Africa refers to the integration of technology into teaching and learning systems to provide broader, faster, and more equitable access to skills development. As Africa underscores a tech-driven transformation, traditional education models are no longer sufficient to prepare youth for the digital economy and digital education, which includes online learning platforms, mobile-based tutoring and micro-learning, coding boot camps and tech hubs, corporate digital academies, AI, and the gamified learning solutions. And these solutions are closing the learning gap in underserved areas, providing access to globally competitive skills such as coding, cybersecurity, data science, entrepreneurship, and while supporting lifelong learning. We're going to break. When we return, all of our guests join us on the program. Do stay with us.
Augmented reality (AR) is a technology that merges computer-generated images with the user's real-world view, creating a composite experience. This interactive experience integrates various sensory modalities, such as things you can see, hear, and even feel, making the experience interactive and immersive. In recent years, the emergence of this transformative technology has seamlessly integrated digital and physical realms. This groundbreaking innovation relies on specialized hardware like smartphones and smart glasses equipped with cameras and sensors, AR software, and Apple's AR Kit and Google's AR Core. Then creates immersive experiences by overlaying virtual content onto the user's real-world environment. AR software such as Apple's AR Kit and Google's AR Core then creates immersive experiences by overlaying virtual content onto the user's real-world environment. AR's applications span diverse industries from gaming to education, healthcare, retail, and manufacturing. In education, AR enhances learning through interactive and dynamic experiences, while in healthcare, it aids surgical planning and medical training. Retail experiences are transformed as AR enables customers to virtually try on products and visualize furniture in their homes. Despite its potential, AR faces challenges such as technical advancements and user privacy concerns. Overcoming these hurdles will unlock even more seamless and immersive AR experiences, making it an integral part of our daily lives. As technology progresses, the horizon for AR broadens, promising a future where our interactions with the world are richer and more interconnected. Augmented reality is not just a trend, it's a revolution shaping the way we live, learn, and work. Goma Fortune, Souk News.
Human ingenuity has birthed remarkable innovations, none more so than the rise of intelligent machines. Computers, once small calculators, have evolved into sophisticated systems capable of mimicking human thought processes. Powered by artificial intelligence, AI, these systems are learning, problem-solving, and making decisions that were once exclusive domain of humans. From accelerating scientific discovery to tackling climate change, AI's potential is vast, but perhaps its most profound impact lies in healthcare. Artificial intelligence, AI, it's no longer a futuristic concept. It's here with the potential to revolutionize patient care, diagnosis, and treatment. AI is emerging as a powerful tool in the hands of medical professionals. From detecting diseases early to optimizing treatment plans, AI is demonstrating remarkable capabilities. It can analyze vast amounts of medical data to identify patterns and predict outcomes, aiding in more.
A very good afternoon to you once again. Many thanks for joining us on the program. Now, joining us on Just Africa today is Peter Ejiofor. He is the founder and managing director of Ethnos Cyber Limited, a leading Africa cybersecurity firm with over 15 years of experience. He has advised top financial institutions and led key security projects across sectors, a certified ISO IEC 27001 auditor and senior penetration tester. He developed the security platforms Castellum and Aquila and is a fellow of the Institute of Information Management in Africa, an alumnus of Lagos Business School and a recipient of the African Leadership Excellence Award. Peter is also chairman of Endo Survivors International Foundation, known for its innovation and leadership in Africa's cybersecurity landscape. Peter Ejiofor, you are welcome to Just Africa.
Thank you very much.
Many thanks for joining us on the program.
It's an honor to be here.
And by the way, I should let you know that that profile is quite lengthier than that. No, you have to call that one in.
That's fine.
So that we don't spend the whole day reading his profile on the program. Welcome once again to the program.
Thank you so much.
Great. Now, whilst our focus will be on cybersecurity, I want to start from the more general platform.
Okay.
Because it also involved education and technology.
Yeah.
If we go back to 1999 or 2000, 2001, 2003, 2007, where telecom, where telecom started, coming into Nigeria, private telecommunication companies, some persons believe that was the advent of technology trying to make its way into the country.
Yeah.
For you, how has it been? The general, when we saw it then at that particular point in time, we didn't know we'll be here at this point.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Yeah, my take on that is looking at it from the African consumption of technology and involvement and engagement. We moved up from that, from the 17th to date. We made some good progress, all right? You're looking at technology from the impact the technology has brought to bear. Okay, technology has changed dramatically how we engage, how we transact, how we relate, and now things are a lot more seamless because technology has enabled, engagement of one another and transaction. And then, of course, we have moved. We're not there yet, but we have made some good progress with respect to technology in Africa generally.
Do you think the growth was quite rapid, or do you think we're maintaining a steady pace?
We look at it from two ways. Excuse me. From the consumption, the growth is quite rapid.
Okay.
But from the public sector support in terms of infrastructure that supports the growth, in terms of legal and operational environment, framework, we're a bit slow in that area. But in terms of consumption, everything that comes out today, Africans, Nigerians in particular, are quick to respond. So in terms of consumption, we are moving as much as they are consuming in what we call developed countries.
Okay.
But in terms of the environment that supports that, we're still way behind.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ejiofor. So now, still looking at this technology, how would you rate the acceptance of it, not just in the urban areas, but in the rural areas?
Yeah. I think from the, around the rural areas, all right, somehow technology forces itself into people. People are forced to adopt technology. Okay, for example, the number of people that have smartphones in the country, you'll be amazed that we have over 140 million penetration in terms of smartphone access. And of course, the growth of the internet penetration has also risen to over 57% penetration in Nigeria. So that's huge, and a whole lot of them are also in the rural communities. Because now I notice really when you communicate with people from the rural communities, a lot of them now use WhatsApp to talk because the cost of regular calls has gone up. So it's cheaper for them to use internet. And so that tells you how much of consumption of technology in the rural areas. All right. And then of course, the financial consumption also, the financial inclusion has also forced them to adopt technology. So the growth in the rural areas is not as slow as you expect. You'll be shocked how much they consume technology. A few years ago, the government wanted to administer loans to some people in the north. And the only way they could administer those loans was to use mobile phones. And so the company created the code, the USSD code that enabled government to administer credit to the rural communities using mobile phones. So that tells you how much technology has grown in the rural communities too.
All right, yes. You kept on making mention of this particular word, forced them to use it, which means it's as a result of they need it. It's not because they want it, but because they can't do without it.
Yes.
Do you think it has also helped them to be digitally inclined? I mean, the rural areas itself.
Again, it comes from what do you do with technology? Okay, they may not be willing to, but what you do with technology has helped people to consume technology. There are people who, when you started issuing debit cards, ATM cards, some were scared of the transaction and said, I'm not going to use ATM card. But over the years, they didn't even know when they were forced to take ATM card because they have to use it. Of course, there was a policy of
Cashless policy?
yes, it was called cash something by the federal government, which means you don't have to carry cash. So that forced people to use cards. And so technology kind of forces you because it enables engagement between you and another person and between you and the value that you are expected to derive from a relationship.
Okay, so whilst I'm not in a hurry to rush into cybersecurity, now let's look at some of the spiritual effects of technology. During my intro, we're talking about, our focus was more on education. They call ed tech. And if we go to agriculture, we have places like the agro business using AI to function in that space. And we've seen that in modern warfare, security itself is not excluded, where high-tech, security-driven technology has been used by nations against nations. But how are we able to have tech penetrate all aspects of our life? It's as if we cannot do without it. In fact, if case not it's like we have tech-driven restrooms. Yes.
Yeah.
So how are we able to achieve that? Where do you think we're heading with all this?
Where we are heading to with all of that is what technology will determine how it drives us. But in terms of the risk that come with it, okay, and how we have been able to adapt, all right, if you look at connectivity, all right, and then you look at data transaction. Now, countries like Nigeria would appear not to have suffered a lot of impact because one, the framework, the policies does not enforce us to make certain information public. Okay, that's one. Even if it's there in paper, but the impact is different. Secondly, the amount of data that you have been able to provide for another person to access, depending on the relationship. But in other countries, they have moved relationship, data connection, data availability up into the technology platform, which is why it is easy to connect people. But here, it was a bit of slow because we are not moving so much data out there. But we are more connecting with people outside the country than we are connecting to ourselves. Okay? And if you need something from you, if I need something from you, and technology is going to make that happen, I don't have a lot of choices, but to try to agree with you and establish that connection so that we can relate. So that said, there's also a lot of risk that came with it. And as I said, we didn't know much of the risks because a lot of our, for example, if there was a time when I was caught, driving in the UK, and they said I had driven against the traffic rule, and I didn't know. So I said to them, no, it wasn't me, somebody else. And then they told me when that person left the country, all right, and what airline that person used to leave the country. So they were very well wired, all right. But they will tell you sometime that if you send a passport into the country, soon as you hit Nigeria, they can't trace it. So it's about how much data that's available, that is accessible. So we were not quick to move our data up. We have not even moved much yet, all right? And so we were not feeling the impact of the risk that much.
Okay.
But in other countries, they move so much data, they are connected one another, and there's a seamless engagement and relationship between organizations, government, and people, and that made things a lot easier.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, so you mentioned data. So my question now is, what are the bottlenecks? Because the fact that you mentioned that you do not have access to data, I mean, abroad, with just your social security number, wherever you go, they can access all the information about you. in any institution, hospitals and all that. But in Nigeria, well, we are moving, we're trying to get that done with the NIN and the BVN. So what are the bottlenecks that you think is hindering this data?
In fact, even without the social security number, once they have your date of birth, they can locate you. They can get every other information about just your date of birth and your address, your postcode. They can pull out every other information. Now, why have we not been able to get to that level? Again, it's a lot of things that happen with our policy implementation, policy adoption, commitment from the regulatory and relevant agencies to make things happen. Political will. Now, I'm not a politician, and I don't speak a lot about politics and the impact of politics, but if the people in authority are committed to actions, all right, and they put themselves out there, for example, I must do this, it makes it easier for others to commit to it. The policy documentations are there, but the implementation, the commitment to make it happen seem not to be there a lot of times. And so that's why some things don't really happen as we expect it.
Okay.
And I think this is peculiar to a lot of African countries. I don't have all the answers why African countries are this way, but we can find it in a lot of African countries. Government commitment to making things happen is always very slow.
Okay, all right.
And second question, do you think, in your own assessment right now, do you think Nigerians or even Africans, do you think we're making the best use of technology? I mean, we're exploiting it to the fullest?
I can tell you from what I know, all right, working in the tech and security space, all right, and then, of course, relating with people, both here and abroad. I believe that in terms of consumption, we are adopting technology very, very much. We are consuming technology. You can imagine the amount of people that get trained online from Nigeria, accessing knowledge from all over the world. It's phenomenal. All right. So consumption, adoption from individual, because Nigerians are resilient. Nigerians are eager to learn. Nigerians are eager to take something that you offer to them as long as they see value in it. So our adoption, our individual from personal levels is huge. Corporate level is not measuring a par with individual level.
Okay.
That's
All right.
my view.
All right. Thank you very much. You're still watching Just Africa. We're reaching you live from our studios at Soup News Television. We're on a break. When we return, we'll delve into other aspects which are very, very key of our conversation. Peter Ejiofor, I wanted to say Peter Obi. Peter Ejiofor is still in the studios with us. We'll be back in a moment. Just stay with us.
Human ingenuity has birthed remarkable innovations, none more so than the rise of intelligent machines. Computers, once small calculators, have evolved into sophisticated systems capable of mimicking human thought processes. Powered by artificial intelligence, AI, these systems are learning, problem-solving, and making decisions that were once exclusive domain of humans. From accelerating scientific discovery to tackling climate change, AI's potential is vast, but perhaps its most profound impact lies in healthcare. Artificial intelligence, AI, it's no longer a futuristic concept. It's here with the potential to revolutionize patient care, diagnosis, and treatment. AI is emerging as a powerful tool in the hands of medical professionals. From detecting diseases early to optimizing treatment plans, AI is demonstrating remarkable capabilities. It can analyze vast amounts of medical data to identify patterns and predict outcomes, aiding in more accurate diagnosis. Also, AI-powered robots are assisting in surgeries, improving precision, and reducing recovery times. However, despite its promises, challenges persist. Concerns about data privacy, ethical implications, and the need for robust regulatory frameworks are hindering widespread AI adoption. To fully unlock AI's potential in healthcare, Collaborative efforts are essential. Healthcare providers, researchers, policymakers, and technology companies must work together to develop and implement AI solutions responsibly. By addressing ethical concerns, investing in AI research, and creating supportive regulatory environments, we can accelerate the integration of AI into healthcare and improve patient outcomes. Joy Chuma, Souk News.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on the program. We still have in the studio Peter Ejiofor. He is a tech expert, and there's cybersecurity is core in it. He has vast experiences in institutions and in setting up of organizations and digital literacy in edtech and others. Welcome once again to the program.
Thank you.
Yes, first of all, by the time any young Nigerian wants to go deep into tech after the preliminary stage of knowing how to use the system and visiting internet communication and others, when we talk about coding, we're talking about cybersecurity. I remember when to make inquiries, they post every, and I said I needed to do a course, a 6-month course in cybersecurity, and when they told me how much I needed to pay, I left. I told I was coming back. I've not gone back till today.
Interesting.
Yes. So what's cybersecurity? Why is it such a lucrative part of tech for young Nigerians now and for Africans to go in there whenever they are looking at taking a step further in tech?
I don't know how lucrative it is,
Okay.
to be honest, but I think that cybersecurity, like every tech, tend to solve real problems. All right. I tell people from my experience that the industry, the tech industry, has had made much progress around hardware, and now hardware is now digital transformation has moved hardware down to the cloud, and then you needed software to drive operations that are within the hardware and the consumers of services. But then after all that has been done, protection becomes a major issue. So you can have, and I was speaking to some board members recently, and I said, listen, you can invest so much effort for risk, for credit risk, but the failure of one customer to repay, or the failure of a credit of a customer, is very unlikely to bring down the business. But the cyber attack of one person can bring down the organization. And so security becomes the base upon which the success of technology sits on. So that's why it is relevant and is gaining a lot of attention now. So, but how lucrative in terms of operation, I don't know. You know, the size of the industry in terms of revenue cannot be compared to the size of even online learning.
Okay.
Globally, online learning in 2025 has reached about 57.something billion in dollars. Yes, online learning. I don't think cybersecurity has reached anywhere there. Okay, and then if you compare that to other industries, the movie industries, the music industry, and all of that. So, but it's the core, because if transaction fails, okay, the business, the value of that business, the corporate value, the integrity of that organization will be impacted. And so security becomes very, very critical. And today it's said that data is the new oil. Data has become very lucrative now. Okay, so you have to put in a lot of effort to protect data. And data crosses every transaction in an economy, from the public sector to private sector. Data drives research, data drives decision, data drives healthcare, data drives financial inclusion, financial improvement, economic development. And so data has become very critical. And so governments and institutions now have to make a lot of effort, including regulations, to protect the data because it is the heartbeat of business operations.
Great. Now, talking about data and the responsibility of government, including both public and private institutions, about last year or last 2 years, we had it that it's on reports that both government ministries, departments, and agencies and private organizations were subject to cyber attacks. Some of them got their systems locked down by these cyber or digital thieves, as the case may be, and they had to pay some ransom before their systems can be run into billions of naira. And if that aspect is viewed as something that is not, when you make comparisons with the software aspect or with education, ed tech, it's not still performing up to the optimum or at par at the moment. What kind of information do these people steal that the company is dying to protect that will cost them hundreds of billions of naira to pay? I mean, collectively, though, not individually, before it can be opened.
Now, let me paint the picture for you, okay? Now, if you went to your bank, I mean, your ATM, for example, and you're trying to access your money, and you can't access it because the server that hosts that data is not able to feed your request, then you will start to understand the impact. Hospitals, some of them are not connected. You can go from one branch to another and your patient information is in the system. And so the doctor wants to bring up your patient information to compare with diagnosis of yesterday and diagnosis of today and to prescribe medication or something, and we can't pull out that data. Or maybe tests have been conducted from lab and they have keyed the information into the system, and the doctor needed to view those test results to prescribe medication or treatment for the patient, and he can't find that. And then the patient is lying critically ill. Then you start to understand the impact of those ransomware attacks. It's critical, it's huge, all right? And I'm not sure how much of government operations have been moved into the system. A lot of this operation is still manual anyway, so they pay less attention to the processes that is required to ensure that the critical infrastructure are tightly protected and commit themselves to it, commit the required investment, commit the required oversight to ensure the security of all of this. So it's only the organizations that are under strict regulatory oversight, like the institutions, for example. So they compel them to do certain things to protect the environment because their money, and of course everybody needs the money. They want to access the money to do things. If they cannot access that money, it's a problem. All right? So it is the criticality of the services that are being rendered that drives the impact or the import of what happens to you when your system is locked down.
All right, so if I want us to relate this to also digital education, so what role do you think cybersecurity will play in the near future in digital education?
I want to look at it from several ways. One is digital learning enabling, providing the knowledge of cybersecurity capacity, competencies to the people. Because you know how I think that sometimes we tend to prefer things that are done abroad, you know, some kind of identity issue. So they currently, a lot of the services, a lot of the knowledge, a lot of the research, a lot of the capacity are shipped from abroad, all right? But interestingly, some of us in Nigeria are now building that capacity and providing the ability for protection. We have done some studies and research. We have built 2 cybersecurity platforms standing alone. One for application security, mobile application security. One for training on cybersecurity awareness, and then of course hygiene. So they are all researched. They are built here with the content, the gamified content, and all of them built here for the Nigerian market. All right, but then if you have to access skills and knowledge, a lot of them have to be delivered through online learning. All right, that's in one way. Then what will the cybersecurity role play? Cybersecurity provides the assurance and the confidence, okay, when you are consuming or interacting with applications and platforms and cyber cloud services or connectivities. If there is efficient cybersecurity framework or practice in place, it gives you that assurance that you are safe online, you are safe from somebody you don't know that you're relating with, somebody who you don't know that you're trusting. Cybersecurity provides that bridge of trust and assurance for you. So that's the two ways I want to look at the role that cybersecurity plays. One is enabling people with the skill and capacity to practice cybersecurity. Another one is to provide the assurance and the trust that's required in an cyber ecosystem.
All right, so do you think that cybersecurity should be taught as a standalone subject or should be integrated across subjects?
In terms of learning, all right, cybersecurity is a standalone course, just like you find medical practice, you find agriculture, economy, and all of that. Cybersecurity stands on its own. However, it has impact from every other engagement that has to do with cyber relationship. Okay, so that's how I look at cybersecurity. But the knowledge of how to stay safe is relevant for everybody. Okay, both the one who is on today and the one who's going to join tomorrow. Cybersecurity is online safety knowledge is relevant, which is why today, in part of the regulatory requirement, most of the framework require that you conduct cybersecurity awareness training for your staff, because they are the ones who sit like the first line of defense to your cyber interaction. And so if they make a mistake and they become a doorway, become loophole to your infrastructure, it could cause you a bigger problem. And so that becomes a requirement. In the learning environment, education also is quite vulnerable. And so some of our reports show how vulnerable educational sector present. So cyber hygiene, cyber training, cyber knowledge also becomes relevant. And because the government today is now implementing digital identity, okay, I think as we speak, there's an event that's talking about digital identity, all right? And so it's become, I tell people that identity is now as important as every other critical national infrastructure, because your identity is who you are, all right? That's what gives you access to anywhere. And so because our identity is now being digitalized, it becomes important that everyone should become conscious to have basic hygiene of cyber safety for their own survival in this time which we live. And then, as you mentioned earlier, nations against nations, okay? When that happens and nations are not prepared, it could impact on a national survival drastically if another nation embarks on a cyber war against another nation. We've seen that happen in other countries where they completely brought down that society because they have upgraded some of the operations online. And so once they hijacked that connection, everybody was on a standstill and they couldn't function for days until they had to pay the ransom or they had to settle with the adversaries.
Mr. Peter, I have lots of questions to ask you, and I really hope that we'll be able to exhaust them before you go, because our time is fast ticking. Now, some of it, I'm going to ask two questions in one. Nigerian government, there was a time we needed to have the NIN, the National Identity Number, and the BVN, the Bank Verification Number. It seemed to be security mechanisms, checks in place so that they know who owns a specific account to the banks, most especially in the financial institutions, and either people are coming to store money or to keep money or to withdraw money, so that the authorities, the regulatory authorities, could have eyesight on who exactly is carrying out what transaction, because they want to use that to monitor and to probably track down some persons carrying out unscrupulous activities, fraudulent activities like kidnappers who get money physically or they went to store in the banks or things like that. Your company, Ethnos, have been developing some of these agents, these techs, and to equally engage in trainings. How do we nip this in the bud, whereby everybody is on the system, and those who are not on the system, it will be very easy for the authorities to trace and probably lock them out until they subject themselves to the existing platforms so that they can be effectively monitored?
Yeah. The reality, to my mind, is a bit complex, okay? Because we are, most of the activities that happen in Nigeria are largely transactional, okay? And so when people are looking at things from transactional point of view, they kind of they do some lines of connection, okay? And make the resultant effect does not align with objective in paper. Now, what should they do? We talk to them from time to time to say, you know what, when you define regulation, you should be the, you know how they say charity, be the first to become transparent with the implementation of regulation. I'm not aware of how many government agencies have been fined for violating data privacy rules, for example. But private sectors have been fined, all right? And so if government is transparent and be honest, a few days ago, a particular government agency went online and said some youths in the country are selling their BVN numbers to fintechs to make money. Now, the NIM organization came up this morning and said, we don't know about it, okay, and we don't think that information is right, all right? So if the government can step in now and said who's actually wrong, for example, that will enable them to strengthen their processes and ensure there are no loopholes. Now, all over the world, any organization, anything can be hacked, anything can be breached. But it is what the impact when it is breached and the honesty and transparency with which you deal with the matter serves as a deterrent to others to take clue from. The skills are here. Nigerians have incredible skills, but those people that have those incredible skills, are they given the opportunities to practice? Or when you make for example, when I interview people in my office, and this is where I look at it from security point of view. When I interview people in my office, I don't look at their CVs. I listen to them. I try to connect with your skill and competence. So there are people that have certificates and certifications, and then they end the opportunity to run certain organizations. But the skill and the competence to back up that work may not be there, and so they make wrong decisions. But whether the skills are here, the people who can do the work are here, are they given the opportunity to do the work is a question. So the reason why these things fail, to my mind, is the level of commitment, transparency, and honesty that is brought to bear from regulatory and responsible stakeholders and organizations that run these things. But otherwise, it shouldn't be such a big deal.
Okay, so it looks like Nigeria is bailing the cat on the continent of Africa when it comes to digital literacy and at the pace with which we are going. Most especially if we look at the banking industry and the transactions that takes place and how long these transactions reflect, and how, in fact, they even compare Nigeria to some of the Western countries because it's faster to get it done here. What do you think we did right?
Again, I think I mentioned that Nigerians are
consumption.
Who we are. Apart from consumption, we are quick to want to learn because we feel that, you know, the more I learn, the more I can gain value. Okay, so Nigerians are said to be the best all around the world in everything they do. Okay, they turn out right when given the right environment and opportunity. So we have the ability to learn, we have the ability to accept, we have the ability to engage, okay, and we are strong and smart people. And so that helps us to quickly respond to all of these things. That's why we are able to, our consumption level is quite high. I noticed that if a vehicle is manufactured in the US today and is one of the best technology vehicles, in the next few months you find it in Lagos and Abuja. Sometimes you even find them in the villages. So that tells you how much we have the capacity to consume, we have the capacity to appreciate, and we have the ability to acquire. So we acquire, we test knowledge, we test development, but how much do we contribute to those developments is a conversation for another day.
Great.
All right, so if I may ask you, how can digital literacy and cyber awareness, how can it be encouraged in schools?
It should be. I think that currently in Africa, the AU has a document that they have developed regarding the digital literacy. Okay, the different countries in Africa have also developed their own. In Nigeria, they have maybe like 3. Nigeria has a own digital literacy framework. The Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy have their own policy, and the federal government has its own digital literacy and skill policy. So the programs are already there, and this are also recommended that the schools should adopt digital literacy program to improve learning experiences. So the information are out there, but the schools, I think that the students are willing. I feel that the schools, a lot of the schools are largely either underfunded and they don't have the capacity to provide infrastructure, or the national infrastructure that drives technology development that can enable the digital literacy to thrive may not necessarily be available. But otherwise, the government have developed programs that it's up to read from that and then include it in their curriculum and create programs and events and activities that will attract the student to participate and engage in digital literacy. That's what the school have to do, carry out to enhance and scale the participation of digital literacy. But on individual level, Nigerians are engaging digital literacy programs. They are engaging with the platforms. They are learning. Even us as organizations have also acquired certain online learning platforms to help train staff, to improve on their jobs.
So now, when you were responding to my question first time, you made reference, you made an example, and I'm more interested in that because you said the foreign clients seem to have uploaded their data into cloud space so that you can literally trace everything.
Yeah.
Welcome to Femi Walsh Limited, owners of Super TV Lagos, Our Radio Lagos, Cat Radio Kano, and of course Emirates TV Abuja and Dubai. Our niche market for media is business, economy, and development. At Femi Walsh, we promote your company's products and services using our world-class facilities. From our radio to TV, what you get is nothing but the best of the very best. And if you're looking for the premium production firm for your events and corporate coverage, think no further, because we offer you the best in the industry. With high definition cameras ranging from 4K to 8K multi-cam setup, high technical microphones, and real-time streaming encoders, we give you a production like none other. And if you're looking to produce